Using the internet provides lots of information, communication, entertainment, and shopping options. We need to be responsible internet users, so we need to explore some ethics, netiquette, and copyright issues that we might come across while using the internet. First of all, what is ethics? Ethics is concerned with what is morally good and bad, what is right and wrong. We all make choices every day, and we need to think about ethics when we are making decisions concerning the web. There are ethical guidelines for using the web. So let's talk about some of these guidelines. First of all, respect other people's opinions. We don't all think alike. We don't all see things the same way, and that's okay. That's what makes life interesting. That's what makes it not boring to talk to other people. But we still need to respect each other's opinions. Secondly, do not harass or stalk people. Do not force your ideas on someone else. Don't ridicule others for their beliefs. Allow people to be who they are and let them feel good about being who they are and standing up for what they think is right. Third, make sure what you publish is true. Make sure that you are not spreading rumors. Make sure that you have all your facts straight before publishing anything about anyone on the web. Fourth, treat others as you would have others to treat you. Always think about what you would think if someone else were treating you the same way that you are treating them. So we've gone over 4 overall ethical guidelines to follow when using the web. Now, let's get more specific and let's talk about netiquette. Netiquette refers to appropriate behavior on the internet, but specifically writing on the internet. It may be writing on a web page, it may be writing on a social media comment, it may be emailing. Anything we do on the web, we need to follow proper netiquette. Some of the correct rules include: do not use all capital letters. When we use all capital letters, that's as if we are shouting at someone. We can use uppercase and lowercase letters as appropriate. That makes wording a lot easier to read if we use both uppercase and lowercase letters. Use end of sentence punctuation. Again, make sure our meaning is clear, so we use end of sentence punctuation. Write clearly. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Watch your spelling and grammar. Make sure not to use the text abbreviations we're all so familiar with today. Watch your tone. Think about how certain things would sound to the receiver. Make sure your tone doesn't come across as being aggressive or rude. So when writing and sending emails, be sure to follow netiquette rules. When we talk about ethical behavior on the web, we must consider who owns material on the web and what is legal to use and not to use. Copyright is one of the issues we have to consider. A copyright is ownership of intellectual property and the exclusive right to use it or to choose who else uses it. Before you copy anything on the web and use it, be sure to consider who owns it. Unauthorized copying is often prohibited. However, there are times when you can ethically copy and use text and images from the web, and they can be used for other purposes. Copyrighted materials can often be used for educational purposes through fair use. Fair use is a rule that allows use of copyrighted materials for certain purposes without paying the owner for the use of those materials. It's an exception to copyright law for things like research, teaching, news reporting. However, whether the information you use is copyrighted or not, you must always let the reader know where you got the material. When you use material that is not your own, you should use a citation. A citation states that the source where text, images, or other materials come from, such as a book, journal, newspaper, or web page. We need to have a source or citation so that someone can go back to that source and look it up at a later date. Other protections of materials include a trademark. A trademark is a word or symbol that indicates ownership of a product or service, and use of that word or symbol is reserved for the trademark owner only. Coca-Cola would be a good example of a trademark. And not just anybody or anything can have the Coca-Cola trademark. That is reserved for the owner's use only. Another thing, the owner of intellectual property may grant a license to someone to use that property. License agreements usually ask for money in exchange for allowing someone to use intellectual property. Remember to think about copyright issues before using materials on the web. Now, let's summarize what we've talked about. We're talking about ethical web behavior, what's right and wrong, what's good and bad. First of all, respect others. Publish only what we know to be true. Follow the Netiquette rules that we went over. Consider who owns materials on the web and how those materials can be used. And last but not least, treat others as you would like others to treat you.